You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so why try to build a business without one? Grow your contracting business and grow your mind with Growth Mindset Monday.
All right, welcome to the show. Another episode of Mindset Monday, brought to you exclusively by Contractor Plus. We are excited to have you guys here on the show with us. You guys know the drill. If you're here live, drop your name, your business name, and where you're from, and we will give you a shout out. We've got the Irving Corporation from Richmond, Texas. Welcome. We've got Shane Fornelli. Good afternoon from Shane and Sons in Fishers, Indiana. Welcome to the show. Man, what a crazy week last week was. I don't know about you guys, but every time it turns from like summer to fall, time seems to speed up. And I don't know if it's because all of a sudden people are like, man, I got this, get this stuff done before it gets cold, or I got to get this stuff done before the holidays, or like my wife, hey, Christmas is only however many days away, and so she's already shopping. Yes, we do have 2 Christmas trees. She's obsessed with this stuff. The best part, though, is my son, who got married last year, she's now converted my daughter-in-law into a Disney fan. So we may end up going to Disney World this Christmas. Go figure. But really excited to be with you guys today and kind of share a little bit more of a personal side of things today, and a little bit from my life that I want to share with you, and also I'm sure there's some stuff that will apply directly to your life as well. This weekend, like I was saying, this last week was a busy week, not just inside of the business, but also onboarding new clients. We are working on finishing up, however you want to phrase it, our new office, and it's about 3,000 square feet. It's been quite a bit of work. We did have to do some remodeling first, and all new floors, new paint, cabinets, countertops, conference room, offices, and a lot of stuff happening. But I'm trying to leverage as many of my contacts as possible, people that I know in the industry, and get them to help us out along this process. Well, one of the things that I was getting done this last week. I don't know why I keep saying weekend. Going by too damn fast. But this last week was counters. So one of our long walls that we set it up to where we're just going to have no sink, just a countertop. And then we got a lot of storage underneath. And that's where, when we bring in the food for the workshops, or I can put, notebooks and pens and all kinds of stuff, storage underneath there. And so we had this nice toffee colored cabinet set to set up 5 different cabinets. Now, could I have set that up myself? Yeah, probably. But the truth is, it would have taken me forever and probably not turned out as pretty as it should have been. Pause for a second and welcome 2 more guys. Again, if you're here live, go ahead and drop your name, your business name, where you're from, so we can give you a shout out. We've got American. I see what you did there. Solutions from Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the show. We've got Joe from Tennessee Valley Power Cleaning, Maryville, Tennessee. Welcome. Rocky Top. I think that's what they say down in Tennessee. The burnt orange and white. You guys had a good weekend. We got Victor from Rhino Builders out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Welcome to the show. back to the story about the cabinets. Now, if you guys have ever installed cabinets, you know that it takes a very particular skill. Some of you guys are remodelers or handyman or whatever, and you've dabbled in cabinets, but the really good people can get some stuff done, right? And they can get it done quickly and efficiently. And so 5 cabinets to install. We had a 24, 236s and 248s. So it's about 15 feet worth of cabinets. And my buddy, Chris, said, hey, call this guy, Daniel. He's our installer and he'll do an amazing job for you. So I call Daniel. He's like, yeah, I can do it for you. He ends up showing up on Friday afternoon. All right, we got a few more people I'm going to shout out before I continue the story. We got Gary Hutchison, 3G Electrical Solutions out of Berlin, New Jersey. Welcome. We've got Guillermo Lopez, SD Painting and Remodeling from Beasley, Texas. We've got Angel Pena from AP Property Solutions out of Albany, New York. And then we've got Z&Z Home Maintenance and Repair out of the Central Valley in good old California. Welcome to the show. Oh, wait, one more snuck in there. We've got Centurion Land Management out of Hotlanta, Georgia. They almost pulled off the upset last night. Almost. They were so close. Almost beat the Kansas City Chiefs. And we got Richard Tooley from Focus Handyman. Welcome. All right. Daniel is the installer that I get connected with. Now, Daniel's Brazilian, right? He's an immigrant from Brazil and came here because he had actually a couple of convenience stores, if you will, little corner stores down in Brazil, and literally was getting robbed like almost every day. Like imagine that, 3 stores and he's getting robbed like every single day. And so they were able to, sell the stores and came over on a work visa to the United States. It was him and his wife. They've been married for 17 years, and or his now 15-year-old son. And I'll show you a picture of Daniel so you can see he's a real person here on my cell phone. There's Daniel. And Daniel comes in. I mean, the nicest guy, smile on his face, spoke really good English, right? But a smile on his face, was telling me the process that he was going to go through, what he was going to do, asked me if I had some certain things, I asked him if he needed anything, and then he just went to work. And I mean, you guys have been on plenty of job sites, you're contractors, right? So Daniel rolls in. The first song he plays on his little Bluetooth speaker is Amazing Grace. And I was like, all right, there's something different about this guy, right? There's no booty shaking or rocking or anything like that. It was straight up Amazing Grace. And I was like, okay. So Daniel gets to work and, pretty much minding to himself. And my wife and I are cleaning up and putting together our conference room table and chairs, which took way longer than it should have. But hey, it is what it is. And probably about 8:00, we go over to just the other room and just check on Daniel, see how he's doing. And for some reason, he just decided that, he just wanted to start talking to us. And so we're starting to have a conversation, about where he's from and his life and, cabinets and all this stuff. And he's telling us his story and he gets like really quiet. And he says, my wife left me and I haven't seen my son in 6 months. And I mean, it was absolutely like gut wrenching to be in that room. And he's crying and just telling us his story, how he came here to provide a better life for his wife and his son. And his wife, unfortunately found that as a cabinet installer, she couldn't live the lifestyle that she wanted to live, right? I mean, you're not exactly rolling around in a Mercedes as a cabinet installer, sitting in a 3,000 square foot house, but he was providing for her, right? As best he could. And he said that she one day decided that she was going to leave and she left him. And then worse of that was, him trying to at least be able to see his son. Well, she files a order of protection against him. He doesn't even know what that is. And he texts her, which again is a violation of the order. And the cops show up and take him to jail. And he was in jail for 6 days. And he said, it's the first time in my life I ever considered suicide. Suicide, right? Think about that. And he gets out and he said the last 6 months have just been up and down and up and down and up and down. He goes, some days I feel good and some days I don't. He goes, and by the way, I never expected somebody to just openly share this, but I wanted to share it with you. And there's a reason why here in a second. But he shares with us and says, I've tried to commit suicide 3 times. 3 times. Now, he didn't say how, he didn't say when, he just said 3 times. And he goes, but I have some really good friends around me now. And he goes, and they call and they check on me. And he'd been on the phone talking to people. I didn't understand what he was saying because I don't speak Portuguese, but he was been on the phone talking to people. Like most of the time he was there. If he wasn't listening to music, then he was on the phone with somebody. And he was talking about, the fact that he still didn't know what was going to happen with his life, but at least now he was surrounded by good people and he still loved his wife and he still wanted to see his son. Right. And this was probably half an hour that we sat there and just talked. And as my wife, he continued to work. It's like, oh, I got to finish this tonight. He continued to work. My wife and I walked in the other room and we just kind of looked at each other. Right. And it was this weird, like, gratefulness for where we were at. Right. But also acknowledgement of like the struggles that people go through. And I went through my own struggle, and I don't want to make this about me today, but I went through my own struggle, right? Where I was trying to figure out up from down, right from wrong, purpose and direction in life. And I had a wife and I had kids and I had a really good, job, if you will, as working as a police officer. But for some reason, like I just got sidetracked and I got distracted, right? And I didn't know what I wanted. And at times when life gets overwhelming, when there's a lot of pressure externally and internally, right? Pressure to perform, pressure to make money, pressure to succeed, pressure to be a good husband, pressure to be a good father, pressure. It gets to be a lot. And I dealt with my own substance abuse issues, right? I started drinking for a while. I was abusing prescription drugs. Not a good thing. But I understand why. I'm not justifying it. And if you're struggling with any of these things, I understand, right? This is not a justification conversation. But I want you to understand that there are alternatives to the way that you're feeling right now. And that's really what I want this conversation to be about, right? Not about us, not about, necessarily making more money, which trust me, we can talk about, making more money. But what I want you to know is that there are stresses and there are pressures and there are struggles that you're going to go through. But at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is where you're at, right? Where are you at? Going back to the office, I'll show you a picture here of what the office looks like. You can kind of see this here. I got my son there in the middle of the screen. He was helping me scrape some paint off the floors because the painters did an absolute, we'll keep it PG, horrible job of painting. Like there were paint splatters everywhere, literally like spilled paint, big puddles. And so we got carpet coming in. So we're trying to scrape off, the big chunks and whatnot of paint everywhere. And it was frustrating, right? Because I paid these guys to do this job. And now I'm having to clean up after them on a Saturday where I wanted to spend time with my wife, time with my son. My daughter had a dance recital competition. Like I'd rather be doing that. And so is it frustrating? Yes. And I'll tell you, if I wasn't where I am today, then I would have sought out an alternative to deal with the stress and the pressure. Less than 2 weeks, we're having our first event here at the workshop or here at the office. It's a workshop. It's a 2-day workshop. It's our Scale Smart workshop, 2 days. And it's going to be massive. We're going to have probably 40 contractors in the room. They're all 7-figure plus guys. Like it's intense, right? Trying to get all this stuff done. And delays do not work in my favor, right? I got to have this done by literally a week and a half, next Thursday. That's when we're going. So it's either going to be like half done or it's going to be all done, but we're going anyway, right? So there's stress and pressure, right? But what is it that happens, right? What is it that happens when we start to feel overwhelmed? I will tell you that the reason that I started drinking, the reason that I was abusing prescription drugs is because I had anxiety, and I guess I still do. Now I know how to deal with it, but I had anxiety and I didn't know how to deal with it back then. Right? I didn't know how to deal with it. And so My deal with it was find a way to calm the voices in the head, find a way to not have to think about the things that weren't working in life. Right. And so all of a sudden, I'm distracted from what really should be happening, which is me performing as a husband, as a father, right? As a person in the community. I was distracted and I was just trying to calm what was going on in here. And there's some crazy statistics that I want to share with you guys. So construction workers, and by the way, you're all construction workers. You can call yourself a builder, remodeler, a landscaper, whatever. You're in the construction industry. So here you go. 75% a higher suicide rate than the general population. 75%. 6,000 suicides in 2022. 6,000. It's not a small number. So why? Why is it? Right? And I was thinking about this. And there's a couple of quotes that came to mind. I've talked a little bit about this before, right? But this is the first and the most important thing. You can't pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself first. Like, I get it. Society says, be the man. And trust me, like, I subscribe to that. Like, hey, you got to step up as the man of the house, take care of your wife, take care of your kids, right? You've got to provide. You also have to be loving and caring and provide for them, like financially and emotionally and spiritually and all these different things, right? Especially if you're like a young father. And I apologize to the women if you're on this call. I am directing this more towards the men today because that's my background, obviously. There's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of stress, right? And I just love, if you feel like it, I'd love for you guys to share in the chat, like if you've ever felt the stress and the pressure of being the man, being the business owner, being the person who has had to deal with this stuff, right? Now I'll tell you, the biggest shift in my life didn't happen because of an opportunity to make more money. Didn't happen because I moved into a new house in a new neighborhood. Didn't happen because I joined a new church. Didn't happen because I started a better workout plan, got ripped. It didn't happen because of anything external. The biggest shift in my life happened when I started to pay attention to me and I started to take care of me. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I'll share it with you. Okay. This is what I do today. And this was probably 10 plus years ago. Actually, it was 10 plus years ago that this shifted my life. Every single day, this is what I do. Okay. The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I connect, right? And I connect with my maker. You can call him God. You can call him whoever you want to call him. I believe in God. That's who I connect with. Sometimes it's through prayer. Sometimes it's through meditation. Sometimes it's just like I go on a walk and talk with God. Just an open conversation. Yesterday was horrible. Right now, I'm not really enjoying life with my wife or my daughter. All she wants me for is my money. Like everything that goes through my head. Trust me, guys. Like if it hasn't come to that point yet, you're going to be questioning why you had kids. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, right? It just happens, right? Because there's stress and there's pressure to perform, right? To be at that high level. And so the first thing that I do is I connect with my God, right? With my purpose in life. And I just make sure, am I aligned where I need to be? Like this weekend, I got to spend, other than the time at the office, I got to spend time with my family, right? My son is in San Antonio, Texas. My daughter-in-law is in Norfolk, Virginia. My youngest is still here. My daughter's, down in college, and she actually came over. So it was great. Like we got to watch her dance. Like we just spent time connecting. I didn't do anything fun, crazy, exciting, adventurous. We just connected, right? And it was so humbling to me. Like this morning when I went on my little walk, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, man, I make life so complicated. I need to get this video done. I need to send this invoice out. I need to collect this. I need to invite this person. I need to do this. I need to do that. Like overwhelm. And I just took a moment to just be grateful for what I have, right? I got 2 sons. I got 2 daughters, right? Including my daughter-in-law. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that my daughter tells me, hey, my computer broke. I need some help or I need a new pair of shoes, right? She's talking to me. Like that's a beautiful thing. Right? My son says, hey, I want to go climb this mountain. It's called Mount Timpanogos. It's like one of the tallest peaks here in Utah. It's like a 10-hour hike. He's like, hey, Dad, you want to go hike this weekend? In my mind, I'm like, hell no. Right? But to have my son tell me, yeah, hey, Dad, I want to go hike with you. Like, what a beautiful thing. Right? So anyway, the first thing that I do is I connect with my maker. First thing. And that's my invitation to you is connect. However you choose to connect, meditate, pray, journal, walk and talk, whatever, connect. Okay. The second thing that I do is I work out. Now you're like, what the hell does working out have to do with mental health? Well, let me tell you, I'm not a doctor, but I have worked with doctors in the past and I do have a doctor. When you work out, and by working out, I mean sweat, right? So the body is sweating. Okay. So you're actively swimming, biking, running, lifting weights, karate, jujitsu, whatever the thing is. When you work out, your body releases endorphins. Endorphins are your body's natural happy chemical. Like you want to be happy, you could go take Adderall or you could just go work out. Now your body will naturally release endorphins, the happy drug. Tell me I'm not wrong that when you go to the gym or go work out, when you're done, yeah, you might be a little tired, but you're happy. Why is that? Well, that's the reason why. So every day, do something that makes you sweat. Be creative. Okay. The third thing that I do is I connect with my family. Now, when the kids were younger, I'd write little notes, little sticky notes, and I would stick it on their bed frame, or I'd stick it on the mirror in the bathroom, or I'd stick it on their door. Tell my daughter how much I loved her, how much I appreciated her, if she did well on her spelling test, tell my wife, thank you for the amazing meal last night, or, I can't wait to spend time with you alone this weekend, or just something really simple, right? Eventually it graduated to, they all got cell phones now. They're all adulting. So it's little short audio messages or little short video messages or text messages, right? But just something very simple that allows me to connect with them. Because by connecting with them, it then allows me to clear that mental space, right? That mental space of, I have some things that aren't working here, but I'm trying to focus on this, but I can't because there's things that aren't working here, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. There's times that you're at work and when you've had a fight with your wife or things aren't going good at home, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about home. Or when you're at home, when things aren't going well at work, what are you thinking about? You're thinking about work, right? So we're trying to balance that thing out. The last thing that I do is I prepare for the day. The military has this term: prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. Yes, try that. Say that fast 3 times. Okay. Prior proper planning. Instead of just jumping in your truck, heading to the job site you think you got to be at, but you're not really sure. So you're on the phone or you're reading through emails or text messages on your way there. Somebody's calling in and the chaos begins, right? What if you just said, okay, all things being equal, what needs to get done today? What needs to get done? And you focused all your energy and your efforts into that. The distractions are going to come, right? But it's one thing. And if you can finish the one thing, you feel accomplished. So we talked about this. We got a couple little comments here that I want to share. Daniel says the 5 a.m. club is a good read on this subject. Sounds like I've since been waking up at 4:30, running for 2 miles to sweat, meditation for 20 minutes, read or write for 20 minutes. Beautiful, beautiful, right? And then we got Joe that says the 7 P's to success. Yep, that's it. Listen, by the way, I'm not here to tell you what to do, right? I just want to give you some ideas, some things that have worked for me. And you can hear some of the other, guys on the call, the same thing. life is never going to work out exactly the way you want it to. And so quit expecting it to be that way. Life is about you preparing for the inevitable, right? The inevitable of things are going to go sideways. How are you going to react to it? How are you going to find a solution to the problem? By the way, that's what you get paid for. You don't get paid for landscaping or handyman work, electrical, roofing, concrete. You don't get paid for that. You get paid to find solutions to problems. Do you think the homeowner cares that the PSI of the concrete that got delivered for their backyard was off, and so now you got to go get more? No. Your problem, find a solution. You think they care that you open up the wall and it's knob and tube wiring? No. Problem, find a solution, right? I get it though. Making decisions and finding solutions can be overwhelming. So I go back to this, okay? Every single day, you're going to have issues. Sometimes maybe one small one, sometimes 20 big ones. Most of the time, somewhere in between. Your job is to put yourself in a position to win. Because by putting yourself in a position to win, you then put your business in a position to win. And if you can put your business in a position to win, odds are, you guessed it, you'll win. So here's the challenge and really the invitation for you guys today. Find a routine that works for you in the morning. Like, I'll tell you that I've seen people quit alcohol, stop using prescription drugs, like repair their marriages. Like, I've seen all of these changes happen simply because they started committing to their own well-being, their own mental health. So that's the invitation for you guys. If you're not doing anything right now, just do something and keep it super simple. This doesn't have to be a 2-hour thing. Keep it simple. Give yourself maybe 30 minutes to start off with. All right. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. I get it. You want to sleep. You don't get enough. I get it. Right. I still crave 8 hours a night. I don't get 8 hours. Like 6 hours were solid. Right. But I purposely get up at 4 a.m. so that I can have that time for me. Because for me, honestly, anything past 6 hours is a luxury. Because I'd much rather have that time to get this thing where it needs to be, my mind. So my challenge is pick one thing and start doing it this week. One thing. Meditate, pray, journal, work out. Pick the thing and just start doing it. And commit to just start doing it regularly, like every single day. And see how your life starts to change. Your perspective starts to change. The things that used to stress you out don't stress you out as much, right? Remember, we get stressed out when we feel overwhelmed or when we can't find a solution. So spend time working with you, right? Working with you. Last little comment here. I love it. Rasheen says peace. Peace. It's a crazy word, right? So that's my challenge and invitation to you guys today. Spend time working on you. If you're feeling a little overwhelmed, take a break. No, don't go scroll through social media. Don't go down to the supermarket and pick up a 6-pack. Like, take a break, close your eyes, and just breathe. Just breathe for 10 minutes. Just breathe. You'll be amazed by what just breathing can do for you. So pick a thing, implement it. Focus on your mental health. And I guarantee you, you will see a change in the right direction. All right, that's all we got for you. I do want you guys to know that we've got some new updates coming for Contractor Plus. They should be showing up here soon that are going to allow you to do some really cool things, which, by the way, I obviously recommend Contractor Plus to all of my clients. This last week, really interesting question, right? We're asking like, hey, can you have multiple contracts inside of Contractor Plus? Yes, you can. Can you have multiple templates inside of Contractor Plus? Yes, you can. So for those of you who are like, man, I'm always having to go in and, do one estimate. I have to do it by hand and click all the boxes and fill everything in. And then I have to go to this person and do another one. Bro, trust me, one time, set it up as a template and it's there for you. quick and easy, turn and burn, and you're on to the next one. All right. That's all we got for you. Appreciate you guys being here. Make today and this week successful in your eyes. Take care of you, and the rest will follow. All right.